Hello everyone. This video is in continuation with our previous video is matter around is pure, chromatography and distillation. If you haven't seen that video, do check that as well, and if you like our videos, then please give a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. In our previous video, we discussed distillation in detail. Let us now discuss what is fractional distillation and what is the difference in apparatus of distillation and fractional distillation. The apparatus is similar to that for distillation except that a fractionating column is fitted in between the distillation flask and the condenser. Down below we have a detailed figure which gives us an idea of the apparatus of fractional distillation. The beads provide surface for vapors to cool and condense repeatedly. The apparatus in addition consists of fractionating column which consists of glass beads. Let us now discuss the use of this fractionating column. A simple fractionating column is a tube packed with glass beads. Let us now discuss how can we obtain different gases from air. We know that air is a homogeneous mixture and can be separated into its components by fractional distillation. We discussed this yesterday under the applications of distillation. The flow diagram shows the steps. The air is compressed and cooled by increasing pressure and decreasing temperature. Liquid air is obtained, which is then allowed to warm up slowly in fractional distillation column, as a result of which gases get separated at different heights. Down below is the table which represents boiling point and percentage air by volume. If we want oxygen gas from air, we have to separate out all other gases present in air. As discussed, we know that air is a homogeneous mixture of many other gases. So in order to obtain a particular gas, we need to eliminate all the other gases present. The air is compressed by increasing the pressure and is then cooled by decreasing the temperature. As a result of this, we obtain liquid air. This liquid air is allowed to warm up slowly in fractional distillation column, where gases are separated at different heights depending upon their boiling points. As soon as the liquid air is allowed to warm up in the fractional distillation columns, various gases according to their boiling points get separated at different heights, as a result of which we are able to separate oxygen gas from the air. Let us now discuss how can we get pure copper sulfate from an impure sample. Let us discuss this with the help of an activity. Take some approximately 5 grams of impure sample of copper sulfate in a china dish. Dissolve it in minimum amount of water. Filter out the impurities. Further, evaporate water from the copper sulfate to get a saturated solution. Further, cover the solution with a filter paper and leave it undisturbed at room temperature to cool slowly for a day. Crystals of copper sulfate are obtained in china dish. What is this process? This process is called crystallization. This method is used for purification of solids. Like salts we obtain from sea have many impurities. To remove these impurities, the process of crystallization is used. Crystallization is a process that separates a pure solid in the form of its crystals from a solution. Crystallization and evaporation are both methods of separation. Now let us discuss why crystallization is a better technique than evaporation. Some solids decompose or some like sugar may get charred on heating to dryness. This can be observed in our households as well. If sugar is provided a large amount of heat, it gets charred. Some impurities may remain dissolved in the solution even after filtration. On evaporation, these contaminate the solid. Therefore, crystallization is a more preferred method of separation than evaporation. Let us move forward to discussing the applications of crystallization. As discussed earlier, it is used for purification of salt that we get from seawater, as the salt obtained from seawater consists of large amounts of impurities. Process of crystallization is used for its purification. Separation of crystals of alum from impure samples. Thus, by choosing one of the above methods, according to the nature of the components of mixtures, we get a pure substance. We have discussed many methods of separation of mixtures. We can choose any of the method depending upon the nature of components. With advancement in technologies, many more methods have been devised for separation, which are better and give us more clear results. Let us now discuss a very important example. In cities, drinking water is supplied from waterworks. Let us discuss a flow diagram of typical waterworks. A water purification system of waterworks comprises of various different parts. The first part is the reservoir, which contains all the water. Then we have the sedimentation tank. As the name suggests, it allows solids to settle. The large solid particles within the water are allowed to settle in the sedimentation tank. Moving on, we have the loading tank, which is used to sediment the suspended impurities. Suspended impurities are those which are not completely soluble in water. They are allowed to sediment in the loading tank. Moving forward, we have the filtration tank. As the name suggests, it is used to filter out all the impurities, such as sand, gravel, coarse gravel. Then comes the chlorination tank, in which chlorination takes place in order to kill bacteria. And finally, water is supplied to our households. Down below is the diagram which gives us the idea of the water purification system. First of all, we have the reservoir from which the water flows into the sedimentation tank where solids are allowed to settle. Then it moves to the loading tank where sedimentation of the suspended particles take place. Then further, water moves to the filtration tank where all the impurities such as sand, gravel are being filtered. Further, it passes to the chlorination tank in which water is chlorinated in order to kill bacteria. And finally, it is supplied to our water taps at home. With this, we come to an end of our today's video. In our today's video, we discussed what is fractional distillation. We discussed how can we separate different gases from air. We discussed the process of crystallization in detail. And finally, we discussed the water purification system. That is it for our today's video. If you like our videos, then please give a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.